Welcome to the Fair and Greed Business Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. We have an investing interview with a difference today. Future Generation is an ASX-listed fund manager that offers investors access to leading Australian and global fund managers, while also supporting charities that help children and youth. It was founded by Wilson Asset Management's Jeff Wilson, a friend of the podcast. He founded it back in 2014 as a way for the fund's management and finance sector to make a difference. I wanted to take a closer look today at how it all works, what it means for investors, for fund managers, and who they're helping. Caroline Gurney is the Chief Executive Officer of Future Generation. Caroline, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
So how does Future Generation work? Just explain it to us.
It's quite a simple concept, but it's hard, I think, for people to grasp it up front. But we are Australia's first listed ASX vehicles, and we provide both investment and social returns. So we have shareholders' money. We have between the two companies, one that invests in global equities and one that invests in Australian equities. We have the best boutique fund managers managing the money on a pro bono basis. So that actually means we don't charge shareholders any of the usual management or performance fees that you usually have to pay to get access to them. And that allows us to donate 1% of our net assets under management to our not-for-profit partners. And that's really amazing, because if you add up the 1% that we've been giving over the last 8 years, we've now given 75.9 million to not-for-profits specialising in youth at risk and youth mental health and prevention and well-being, something we're unbelievably proud of.
Okay, so I think I'm repeating this to you, but so it's net assets, so it's not net profit. So it's actually, if you've got $100, 1%, so $1 of that is going to one of these organisations. That's right, is it?
Yes, it is. It is. And also shareholders get investment returns.
Right. So if I want to invest, so it's a LIC, is it? Listed investment company.
It is.
I invest in that. So I put my $1,000 into Future Generation Australia or Future Generation Global. I know that effectively 1% of those net assets is going to help people. And then I get investment returns. Where you can do it, it's because the fund managers aren't charging fees. Is that kind of the arbitrage there?
Absolutely perfect.
Okay. So you've made this money. How much did you say you've given away?
Well, over the last 8 years, 75.9 million.
Wow. So $10 million a year you're giving away. Couple of questions. Who are the fund managers involved?
So we have sort of the great fund managers in Australia. So, for example, if you look at, all of those boutique fund managers you can't actually get access to, or, they're closed. So we have Paradise Investment Management, we have Benelong, we have Regal, we have L1 Capital. And on the global side, we also have Coopers, we have Antipodes, we have Holowisco Partners and Lanyon, just to name but a few. So we have 33 fund managers across both of our LICs managing shareholders' money.
Okay. And do they get on? This is just an aside question, Caroline, because you're managing all these people and they're not getting paid for it, are they?
No, they're not getting paid for it. They get on with us, and that's the most important thing. And I think for many of them, it's philanthropic. It's where they're making a difference. So yes, they're great to work with.
Okay, so you've raised this money, almost $10 million a year over 8 years. Where does it go? Who are the organisations that specifically that you're helping out?
So you're right. So basically, in terms of the Australian one, it goes to youth at risk. So, for example, you've got Youth Off the Streets, you've got Act for Kids, you've got Australian Indigenous Education Foundation, you've got Lighthouse, which is about homelessness. You have Mirabelle, which is basically for young people who has been disadvantaged by their parents or their carers, dying of a drug overdose or something related. So, really fantastic organizations that really need money on a long-term basis so they can actually do the job they're really good at doing. And then globally, that's more about prevention, well-being. So we have Reach Out there. We have Mind Blank, which uses sort of drama and actors to act out difficult times in children's lives so they can actually talk about it together. We have Project Rocket, which is basically working in schools, and the girls that run that are amazing women who are also on the board for, a lot of the big, Google, etc., in terms of helping them with technology for young people and how to use it properly. I can go through all of them. I mean, we have 40.
No. So I get the gist of it. So that's fine. Well, how do you make sure that the money's being well used? So if I'm going to invest in the future generation and I can buy into one of the ASX listed funds, how do I know that the money is? I mean, do you have some measure in terms of impact that these charities have?
So that's a really important question, because we really want to be able to measure the impact that our not-for-profits are having on their audience. So say, for example, for Future Generation Global, we actually went out to the whole of Australia and asked for applications for not-for-profits that we could fund. And we now have 14 new not-for-profits in that sort of mental health prevention space. And we are measuring their impact. We actually let all of the not-for-profits invest in what they want to invest in. So they don't actually have to create a vehicle for our money. They can actually use the money for what they think is the best thing, which we feel is really important. And then we ask them to report on that and to actually give us the number of young people that it's helped in various different forms for data. So by the end of this year, we'll be able to actually say, these organizations have helped XX number of young people, and they've helped them onto a path of whatever that might be in terms of their metrics.
Stay with me, Caroline. We'll be back in a minute. My guest today is Caroline Gurney, Chief Executive Officer of Future Generation. So given $80 million over 8 years or thereabouts, it kind of gives us an idea about how big these funds are, but can you just give us a bit more information on that and whether they're growing, whether Australians generally are seeing it as a good way to be philanthropic and earn investment returns?
In terms of what we're doing at the moment, I mean, we have over $1 billion, so it's approximately half in each of the LICs, and that's pretty much constant. It has gone slightly down because of, what's happening in global markets, but we anticipate that it will grow again. And I just think the more we actually talk about how we can make a difference in the community, and as well as giving shareholder returns, I think these vehicles are just amazing ways to save for the long term. I mean, that's what listed investment companies are very good for, and also make sure you actually give hope to so many young people.
Is Jeff Wilson still involved? Now, Jeff's been on our show quite a few times, and people from Wilson Asset Management have been.
Oh, Jeff is still very much involved. I mean, he's obviously our founder.
Can't get rid of him.
Oh no, we do need him. I think his insights, especially into LICs and the investment world, are really important. But he's actually acting chair of FGG, and he's on both investment companies, and he's also obviously on FGX as well. So yes, he's integral in terms of what we're trying to do.
It's a great way for people like Jeff and other fund managers to give back, because in some ways they can go on boards or whatever, but they're actually using their expertise to hopefully create money for good causes rather than just giving money. It's kind of a bit more value add or something.
Well, I think it's, they're doing what they're really good at. I mean, they're performed over the long term, and we expect them to continue performing. But also what they do is they manage this money in their main fund. So it's they've got skin in the game as well. So they care truly about their performance. And by managing, some of them are managing 40 million, different amounts, they're giving a huge amount back.
You've been in the job for a few years now, Caroline, and I've known you well before then. And this is a bit of a change in tack for you. Are you enjoying it?
I mean, I really love it. I love talking to shareholders. I love finding out why they invest in Future Generation, what their aims are, what their inspiration is. And also the fund managers, they're really interesting people, and the fact that they want to do more and do good is fantastic. And the fact that so many people want to be involved with us and do it pro bono. I mean that, I think, really shows that there's, a lot of hope out there and a lot of goodwill.
Caroline, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
Thank you very much, Sean. Pleasure.
That was Caroline Gurney, CEO of Future Generation. This is a Fear and Greed business interview. Remember, if making any investment decisions, you should always seek professional advice for your circumstances. Join us every morning for the full episode of Fear and Greed, Australia's best business podcast. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.